I love that we always start this podcast with you smiling. So, welcome back to another episode of Digital Cheesecake. This topic is a very fun one for marketers, I would assume, and it's in every conversation. So, how to measure and track brand awareness. This is
So how do
always
we do it,
one
Ellie? Because everyone's
straight
talking it.
away. I think you
Everyone's
need to
doing
be.
it. Well, I'm talking
So,
about it.
if people disagree with this post or this podcast episode, then let us know in the comments and I'm more than happy to think about this new approach. So you need to, number one, make sure that you're measuring this. And everyone says, how do you measure brand awareness? Brand awareness channels are, the key channels are, you've got your above the line, people call it above the line, but above the line stuff, which would be anything outdoor, anything that essentially can't be really measured like you can on digital, right? Anything that's going to be buses. It could be anything from like, I don't know, even brand awareness could be programmatic as well, which is like display banner ads on websites. Anything where you're driving, it could be video that's awareness pieces. It can be, I don't know, things at airports, can be like any kind of piece that's awareness. It's not really conversion led, conversion led channels would be like paid search, paid social, those kind of things. So those channels, of course, when you book them and buy them, and people listening that are probably senior in marketing, they're like, yes, we know this. But you get a media plan, you book them in, they tell you how many impressions you're going to get. And then you would, sorry, I keep getting so many of these messages, which is really annoying on my phone. I need to get rid of that. Anyway, you would essentially get a media plan that says how many impressions, right? And it says, cool, you're booking impressions. And if you're presenting that to a board member or you're presenting, cool, we're going to pay for impressions, they're vanity metrics pretty much, saying how many people are going to see your ad. And so what really everyone wants to know is how many conversions am I getting from these ads, pretty much. So I've always stayed true to this measurement, and there's two ways of doing it. Brand demand, so how many times people are searching for your brand, is a very true metric, and you can track this monthly, not weekly, but you can track it
Is it
monthly for
brand or
every
a
brand.
term? If it's a term like
It's your
outdoor.
brand term. So let's go
Okay.
with Apple the brand.
Yeah.
And I would always show this to clients, we would measure it every single week, and we would do brand awareness campaigns where it was, we do everything above the line, and then we would measure the digital stuff, and we would do it all together. You need to make sure any campaign you're running, you do not run them with different channels at different times. It must be at the exact same time you run all your different channels to make sure you get the best result. If you're running a campaign about shoes over here, about a new phone, and then you run the campaign a few weeks later, the channels aren't talking to each other. So that's just a no-no. Always run your
And what are
campaigns
you
together.
measuring? Are you measuring the difference in
You are
times a year
measuring
or?
the volume that is coming of people searching for your brand.
Okay.
So everyone says, oh, cool, let's look at impressions and stuff, which is how many people have seen your ad. But you want to make sure, as one of your key metrics, is the demand for my brand increased during running this campaign? Because if you're running conversion channels like paid search, that doesn't increase the volume of demand. That doesn't. That's like paid search, Google ads. That's not increasing the volume. People that will start searching more for your brand from seeing your ads will be from awareness stuff. And you need to track search volume if that is increasing. So let's say 3,000 people were searching for Apple this month. We ran a campaign. It went to 10,000, 20,000, whatever each month. You need to be
What do you
checking.
compare it against? You compare it against the
Year on
previous
year,
month or the same
year
month
on year,
last year?
year on year,
Okay.
always. Never do month on month. Whoever does month on month, tap, 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 naughty.
Why is
Because
that naughty?
seasonality is key. If I'm running a campaign in March, which Apple always runs a campaign in March, like for a new phone, let's say, oh no, they come out with a new phone in September every year. Let's look at September year on year, always, because it will be the same time of year for when they have new phone releases. So never do a different periods. That is always number one. Some people would say, oh yes, but we're a massive brand. We can't increase to blah, blah, blah. I mean, you probably could. Have you launched in a new market? Have you tested that new market? Like if you're testing brand awareness in South Africa as a new market and you run a brand awareness campaign, you're going to see the search demand go up if you're running any brand awareness stuff. And that ultimately impacts your paid search stuff and everything else. So you will be able to test radio channels, test everything against each other. You will be able to see which ones drive an increase in demand already. That's already one. Demand is different to traffic because people could say, oh, but we'll just look at traffic. But you could pay for traffic. You can pay for clicks to your website. So I could say, okay, I'm going to put $1,000 in an ad or £1,000. And you can say, I just want traffic to my site. You can pay for that. You cannot pay for people searching for your brand, typing it in. That is someone making a decision to search for your brand. And so that's why brand search volume is really key. The way you can only track that is by using Google Ads Keyword Planner. Number one, if you're not using that measurement already, make sure you're looking at Keyword Planner. Ask your agency if they're not doing this already. I want to look at demand. So that's one. Then there would be other metrics that a lot of other people use, which is called like multi-channel. So like you'll have a multi-channel model mix. I don't know, what is it called? Everyone knows
Yeah,
the name these
multi-channel,
days. It's
omni-channel.
yeah, it's called multi-channel, but they say
Yeah.
omni-channel, multi-channel. They'll say it's an MMA attribution model. You can have models that can actually track all of this, but to a point
Okay.
where it is pretty hard to be able to plug in a bus ad that you've been running to track that. It's pretty hard.
Could you attach a code to a bus ad? So if it's
Yeah,
like a
so
certain
of course.
slogan, a phrase, something attached to that particular advert, which somebody could search, then you can
100%,
attribute
which is why
it.
people say QR codes, 100%. Great.
Exactly,
QR code
QR
takes you to
codes.
the link.
Yeah.
Yes, but when some people have got a QR code on a banner on a massive bus, well, let's say there was a massive, like, big ad when you're driving. How the hell are you going to
Running down the
QR
road
code
trying to
something
get it.
on? Well,
Yeah.
you're going to crash your car if you're trying to scan it in the car. So you probably would see the brand name and you'd search for it later. So that would be search volume. Great. You can already, and they haven't even clicked on your website. You can just see how much search is even in Google if they don't click on your ad. I would say it's one key metric. There are definitely other ways to do it from a channel attribution point of view that we can totally do. And that would be having a really good model in a report. But I would say you should be improving your reporting right now if you were just looking at impressions and clicks. That should not be a metric on brand awareness.
So a
I
lot of
never
people
recommend
talk
clients to
about
do it.
improved reporting because I feel as though some people aren't reporting correctly. So how do you get your house in order
You
when
need
it
to
comes
work
to
with the right
reporting?
partner. Hello, come to me. I'm just kidding. This is not a plug. But I would say your agency should be doing that for you. They should have the right dashboard for you. It's definitely possible. You should be looking at an attribution model that works for you. If you don't have an agency, get one. If you have an intern, I think it's hard when people internal. I think it's really important that you in-house some of your agency work because like that would be silly if I didn't say that because it's too expensive to have 25 agencies. But you probably can't in-house attribution and reporting and dashboards. I did in one of my businesses, but even having a data analyst that knows attribution, marketing, and business analytics and like Excel and management and data entry, it's really hard. And data people cost a lot of money. So you do need to have a data partner that you can work with. So I would already say that's one. Do you have any more questions for me, Jack? Because I feel like I've summarized it, but of course there's other areas of brand awareness, but you need to get an
One of
expert
the
to
big
help you on
things.
it.
So we've been doing lots of podcasts with senior people at like CMO level, digital director level, and they're talking about how key 2025 is for brand awareness and pushing that piece.
Yeah.
And then from the conversations that I'm having, a lot of people are saying they're going to get rid of headcount because of changing the economy or NI increases, but the budgets have stayed. I'm going to mention it on every single podcast just because it annoys me so much. Just because as a lot of businesses are
You've got
losing
staff.
headcount. You're losing staff at like mostly retail, less head office level, maybe head of level, but less like exec and manager level. But a lot of their marketing budgets haven't changed. But a lot of the decision makers are saying, I want to pay more attention into brand and organic this year. And a lot of these folk don't have that experience. So why is it, if everything can be measured through performance, why is everyone's attention this year, especially if budgets haven't changed that much from what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Why is the head leaning out the window and thinking, right, I need to focus more on brand this year, bring more brand marketers into the team?
The challenge is, and everyone finds this in paid searches, you will hit a ceiling with how much you can spend in paid search because it's based on demand. I don't know, let's say apple.com, right? They're like, we need to drive more sales, and you're just bidding on the word Apple. If we need to spend more in paid search, we need more awareness. Well, you hit a ceiling in paid search. Most of my clients will say that, being like, Ellie, how do we spend more money? It's so good, the return. You need to drive more awareness. And most businesses at the moment are needing more awareness because they need to fill their conversion channels. So they need more customers coming in that know about them pretty much, right? So they've kind of like maxed out. So they need to run, let's say someone's launching in a new country in, I don't know, Africa, I keep saying Africa, but let's say Spain, then they would need to run awareness channels because people don't know about that brand in Spain, right? So like people don't know about, let's say, I don't know.
How do you rank the ones? Are they different per each country or? Because obviously you've got social, you've got retail media, you've got out of home.
Every country has got a different channel that works, which you think just works for everyone here. No. Africa, it works better for sure because there's cheaper CPCs, works better social in like things like the Middle East versus paid search because they use different search engines. So there's actually like, it's all different. So let's say, going back to your point about driving brand awareness and like how you do it. Yes, I agree. Organic social is crucial depending on the industry, still really important. whether or not organic social for some brands might be LinkedIn. And this is what I've been talking to clients about at the moment is they're like, I want to get on LinkedIn, blah, 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 posting. It's not just about posting. It needs to be, and this is like where it's going to really push sales and marketing together, is that your marketing agency, whoever's going to be doing stuff for LinkedIn, you need to combine sales and marketing together. You need to combine what the sales team are doing
Always
on
kept separate,
LinkedIn.
aren't they?
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know why. I get why, because it's like, you know, these teams have just started to get bigger and bigger, like sales and marketing has become enormous, the commercial team. But I mean, a guy I spoke to recently who's the CMO of an education group was like, our business has grown so much by combining sales and marketing. Like we should have done it years ago. Some companies just don't want to do it because there's too much politics and whatever, and I get it. But if you can, obviously do it. Anyway, separate topic. So the reason is because there's a point where you need to be driving sales, right, through LinkedIn on the Sales Navigator. And then you also need to be making sure the content that you're releasing is aligned to what the sales team are talking about to those people directly, you know? So if we're talking to, I don't know, a founder on Sales Navigator, and then we talk about a completely different industry on our posts, it's not relevant for that person. So you have to be now really linked. If you're doing organic social from a LinkedIn point of view, it needs to be really aligned with your sales team, or else you're just doing posts and it's expensive on LinkedIn. There's no point. Versus organic social, if you're doing it like I think you should be doing organic social internally. I actually don't usually take clients on organic social a lot. I will give the strategy and recommend it, but there's stuff that you can automate. So if you're going to do brand awareness for organic social, scheduling, all that kind of stuff, yes, that can be done at a cheaper cost, right? It's the strategy of social that is the hardest part of because you can post whatever you want, but if you don't have the strategy right of okay, what content are we doing, etc., you won't drive an increase in brand awareness. So you need to have the strategy right, which I think is the hard part.
Yeah.
Anyway, so going back to your point, yes, you need to drive brand awareness this year 100% because companies want to scale. Probably got some really good results last year for some didn't. And now you need to keep doing more brand awareness. Again, I think the second point is, on your point about brand awareness, I know you need to jump, is, oh God, I nearly forgot it. I need to tell it for everyone. It was
We'll come back
that
to it.
plus, no, it was good. Anyway, it was something about the fact that, yeah, brand awareness is good. But you need
Last question.
communities. It's hard to
Yeah.
connect with people. Sorry. I think it's even harder to advertise to people. So that's why brand awareness, podcasting, yes, but it all
People
needs
just
to be
want
measured.
authenticity. They're kind of
Yeah,
over
it needs to be
everything, aren't
measured.
they?
It needs to be
Yeah.
measured. Yeah. Anyway,
So
last
last
point.
question to finish on. So are there any brands that are notable brands that come to the top of your head who are just completely smashing it? Maybe did a turnaround
Yeah, there is one
in the last few
recently.
months? Who is that?
Monzo.
What are they doing?
I mean, of course, people say I say Monzo, but people are like, is it even working? One of my friends is going to work there, and I think she's just so pumped to work there because it is so amazing. But they are, number one, their LinkedIn strategy. People are like, what even is their LinkedIn strategy? It's like the funniest stuff ever I've seen. I think I sent it to you guys. It's like, this is a poll about, I don't know, is it bi-week? What is bi-weekly? Is it twice a week or is it every fortnight? And
That
the amount of
confuses the hell
engagement
out
they
of me
get.
all the time. I love
It's a
that
great
question.
question and it's an awesome poll. And I'm like, great for the LinkedIn strategy. They're probably not spending a huge amount of time on LinkedIn at all, but they're getting good for just brand awareness pieces. They've probably then got a really nice sales navigator process. And also what they're doing, I think, just generally about their premium brand and where they're advertising with right sponsors and their organic social strategy is really key. So I would say that's good, but that's more for a retention point of view. But I'd say they're already doing a really good job, probably more on the social piece. Other ones that are doing brand awareness are some of these, obviously these fashion brands, right? Where they're transforming and doing experience-led content. I think that's they're changing the conversation. I think things like Jaguar are really interesting. We talked about that with Phoebe Russell last week. I think there's you've got a lot of those ones that are bringing organic social together with their paid social story, plus their LinkedIn story, plus then maybe they're doing the right sponsorships. Of course, we always talk about things like Stephen Bartlett and all those other kind of products. I would say it's tying it in together. If you've got that decent sized budget, then if you're going to do podcasting, think about why are you doing it? What are the actual actions from it? What are you tying podcasting in with your sales strategy, your social strategy, organic strategy? They cannot operate in silos or you will waste your budget. So there needs to be a measurement that it all comes back to, or you'll just start booking in media plans everywhere. So I would just say, yeah, that's my thoughts. There's definitely some great brands doing it out there, but it comes down to having a solid media plan and a solid metric that you all are happy with. That's where you'll see the metrics improve.
So we'll just
Cool.
finish there,
Okay.
guys. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you could sign up on Spotify, sign up on YouTube, and follow us, that'd be fantastic. See you soon.
See you soon. Thanks, guys.